From the morning that we were sprayed when we danced, I told her, let's dance well so that we can make money. And I think 2 or 3 months, you saw the... And she came home and she was like, Bobo, I'm sorry. And she mentioned the person's name. I said, this person is pregnant.
I burst into tears. Dúpẹ́ Olú ni mo máa pè, ìwọ kọ́ ni máa pè. Ìgbà tí mo san school fees ẹ ṣé Dúpẹ́ Olú ni mo lọ ń pè ni.
A lot of people didn't know. They thought it was a first thing. But for the first 10 years, we did not have any joint account.
And that was why I said he took my daughter completely from me.
She did so much to help Ara to be more organized. Ara can scatter everywhere.
But she decided to align with her husband, and we respected her for that.
I'm dancing, OLUWASEUN God has been good to me.
Started life together. It was exciting. We started life. We didn't have anything. We just had each other. We had basic things. A mattress that was important in the bedroom on the floor. We had curtain and a fan. That was all we had in our room. Our sitting room was completely bare. Nothing there. Our kitchen, we had this pass-me-down easy cooker of those days by Total, and it was a gift though. And then we had pots, which we consider important because we need to cook. That was all we had. As a matter of fact, we bought our TV, our DVD, then kind of a thing. From the morning that we were sprayed when we danced, I told her, let's dance well so that we can make money.
The culture in the Adebanjo family was that the new wife had to come home. So all this one that people get married and go to hotel, you come to the house. The wives in the family would they would pour water on your feet and all that. So I literally escorted her to the house. And looking back, I cringe now when I remember some of these things because I slept in her house on her wedding night.
Our budget, we realized we could not afford honeymoon. So we told ourselves we will have the honeymoon in our apartment. We'll shut the door and not entertain any visitor for a whole week, except for our best man, so that we won't be bored. We'll use the money that we were sprayed to help us get the TV. And
she came out, she was outside with us gisting. And we kept looking at the time. You're a newly married bride. Go in and meet your husband. Of course, she didn't want to go. So she was using us as an excuse to not go inside. So we were outside for a while until we literally kicked her out of the living room to go and meet her husband. And of course, the following morning, I remember asking her, how did he go? How did he go? Yeah, because the weekend before, we had spent the entire night talking about the wedding night. So it was only natural that the morning after the night, I asked how it went. But she told me nothing happened.
the first challenge of marriage was consummation. That took a while. That took 3 months to consummate our marriage. But against all people, we had a common front. Nobody knew what was troubling us. We just went about our lives. She was excited to say, this is my kitchen. I can determine the food that we will eat. And then we went through the process. And then we got wing of how to do the do. And then nobody else could rest because we became so good at it afterwards. But Then, for there to be a result of our hard work, it became a challenge, and we wanted to start a family immediately. A lot of people thought because she was in the financial sector, that was, we had, no, it wasn't just, the ball was just refusing to go into the net. So we decided after a year, we decided to go for medicals to be sure, because that was what we were advised when we were courting, that if you are active sexually for a year and there is nothing, go and get yourself checked out. And I recall we went together, we did the test, which was for me, and the doctor sat the two of us down and said, no sperm count. I looked at myself, my height, the fine boy, pimples, my dimples, no sperm count, girl. And she took it calmly. We went home. We sat down with Romans chapter 4. We prayed. And I can't forget, we against hope believe in hope, did not believe himself or the deadness of Sarah's womb. And we held on to that as our confession. A few months down the line, another friend got married. And then we went for that ceremony. And I think 2 or 3 months, you saw the... And she came home and she was like, Bobo, I'm sorry. And she mentioned the person's name. I said, this person is pregnant. And I calmed her down. We decided to go for another medical checkup. And she said, I hope you know I'm not putting you under pressure. I said, it's okay. And that one came out to say that low. So from no to low. And we spend money, spend time again on that. And after a while, somebody else told us, oh, there's this gynae here, it's good, blah, blah, blah. We went to that gynae, and the gynae said, oh, young man, from everything we've done, you are perfectly fine. So, said, there's no problem here. So we went back doing the do. Still, there was nothing for it, and we decided to go back. I insisted. I asked the man to repeat all the tests. He said, no, you can take this result anywhere. I said, I'm the one paying, sir. And I'm the one saying, do it again. And so he ran the tests the second time. I said, you have clean bill of health. So he said, but we have to turn our attention to your wife. And she was examined, and they came up to say she had high prolactin level. And it was treated. Testimony of it. The doctor was like, oh, so when you're on break, come and then we'll... And then she had this vacation and annual leave. So I wanted us to go to the hospital. She said no, she just wants to enjoy her husband and stay at home. And back then, there was only one place that had cooling system, AC in our house. It was the sitting room. So permanently, we took our foam that was, mattress that was on the floor, that was not on the frame, permanently in the sitting room, because that's where we can watch TV. And we stay indoor. We enjoy each other's company. And a day to resumption, she complained of stomach ache, and then we went to the hospital, and so the doctor wanted to give her medication, and she said no. And I can't forget the voice of the doctor. You think you are pregnant? One test will reveal it. Let me have your blood. And the man took blood sample, and we went home. So I was to go back to go and collect the results. She resumed work. And so when I didn't even go to the hospital, the doctor called me and said, congratulations, your wife is pregnant. And I put a call through to her at work. Then she was with, she had left Equatorial Trust Bank. She was with GTB. And I just asked her to sit down. And when I told her the news, she was happy. She was excited. She started crying. And that's how we had our first baby after 2.5 years of being married together.
I wasn't in the country when she had the girls. I remember the day she called me that she had 10. I'd known she was pregnant. She didn't get pregnant for the first, I think, couple of years. So she called me that she had 10. I remember vividly because I was in the library, so I couldn't shout the way I wanted to shout, So I was really angry.
When Sheung gave birth, Tenny, remember that mommy called me
and said, Sheuma ti bimo and all that, and gave me the details. The day they were going to have the naming ceremony at Akobi Crescent, I was there.
And we wanted to be sure it wasn't a fluke or a mistake. And we had to start work as soon as possible. And so that's why between Tenela and Ara, there is a year and 5 months in between them.
She had Ara in 2008. I came home about 3 months on holiday after that. I stayed with her for a few days. So
We focus on her life. She's gotten promoted like twice, and her salary has gone up. I've started earning probably like half a salary. And then afterward, we started earning at par. And then I started earning more than her after a while. And I called her and I said, "You've been a good wife, a fantastic woman. What would you want?" And she said, "I had a dream of doing my master's in UK." And everybody thought vision, purpose had been aborted when I chose to get married when I did. I said, "So like how much?" She told me. I said, "We can afford it." I said, "We can afford it." I said, "We can afford it." And then we set everything in motion for her to look for school, choose a course, and then let's see how we take it from there. It's important I say this. I had the money with me. Shaw and I operated everything jointly. And for the first 10 years of our marriage, for the record today, we never had joint accounts, but our mind was joint. And then we take decision carrying each other along. The trust was total, and she demonstrated never making any major expenditure without carrying me along, irrespective of who. But a lot of people didn't know. They thought it was a first thing. But for the first 10 years, we did not have any joint account.
Very, very good example, Christian marriage. My daughter was so much committed to her home. I love the beautiful children of that marriage. I pray God to keep them till their own very old age too. In the name of Jesus. I love Dupe Olu very much, a godly man. And I love the way he took care of my daughter. But I didn't like that he completely took her away from me.
She never joked about her mom, health and well-being. If I'm not mistaken, unless we go deeper and find out, definitely she must have monthly stipend or something she will be doing for the lady every time. And when there's conflict between immediate family, talking about herself, husband and wife, and their mother, in life, there's space for mom, there's space for dad, and there's space for husband. You see some people, they will take side. But to the best of my knowledge, and the little I've seen about her, because like you say, argument might occur at times. There might be forces asking questions, but she stood firm with the husband and the children.
It's like volume of statements slumped into one. That was why I say he took my daughter completely away from me. Because my daughter, myself and my daughter, we were like 5 and 6. I could hardly do a day without talking to her. I don't know, maybe because I'm a homely person, I don't keep friends. And at the loss of their father, it's now left with me and the children that I can relate with my full being without fear of anything. So I carried that along when my daughter got married. I didn't know it was not done that way.
One thing I noticed really when she got married, I would say I was really happy for the kind of person God gave her. because she, like I said, being the only girl, she prefers to be in her shell. Pick her friends that will be in the same shell with her. But I think with the kind of person she got married to, she had no choice. A big family, she had to come out of the shell.
My first experience was at the time they got married, I said my bank was going, and it eventually collapsed anyway. So, and meanwhile, Sheon had started work through the effort of my colleague. So I think about a month or two after their wedding, I was broke. And I was like, Sheon Shati Bereshe, let me call Sheon. And I called my daughter. I was like, Sheon, it's almost 2 months or 3 months now. Don't you sanwó fún wa gbẹ̀yìn? Oh, they raised me. And my daughter was, Mommy, èmi kọ́ lẹ máa sọ fún. Ṣé ti pé Dúpẹ́ Olú ni kẹ́ pè. I burst into tears. Dúpẹ́ Olú ni mo máa pè, ìwọ kọ́ ni máa pè. Ìgbà tí mo ń san school fees ẹ ṣé Dúpẹ́ Olú ni mo lọ ń pè ni. That was my first experience. And it kept on. So by the time was about the few times later, tikini happened. So we got used to it because my daughter will always say, èmi kọ́ lẹ máa pè o, Dúpẹ́ Olú ni kẹ́ pè. So that was it. And that was why I said it took my daughter completely from me.
There could have been an incident. It's normal. It's normal. There's no big deal about it. And the incident now here is between our side and Dúpẹ́ Olú. But Sheon played the card very well. And we held a meeting, myself, my younger brother, and Sheon. They came to my place. And Sheon was like, no, you people, now referring to myself and my brother now, you don't understand him. It's not that, And I saw that commitment and I respected it. There was something that happened that we were aggrieved about. But Sheon decided to align with her husband. And we respected her for that.
A testimony of what God can do.
My mom and my dad are my model for my family whenever if Jesus tarries. Especially like in my generation, there's just like a lot of marriages are like a contract at this point. I don't know how to explain it, but like from what I saw with the both of them, like everything was real. They could laugh together. They could practically be children together, and at the same time, they could be serious and they could be intimate and emotional, like at the same time.
The things I've seen my parents do, some of them are just downright weird. But then I know it's just how they are showing their love for each other.
So she was my friend. She was my free therapist. Because I think my mom understood a lot of things about me that even I did not understand. Like,
She managed to combine being a wife, being Pastor Mrs., being like her manager at work, and being a mother, and combined everything and did amazingly at everything.
She makes up by ensuring that when she comes back, no matter how late, we'll have to gist, unwind about what transpired that day, and then before going to bed. And she always savored the opportunity that when she's going to work, I elect to drive her. And in the course of driving to work, we always, have opportunity to talk about the work, talk about the children, talk about our life. So she was dedicated to her work, but trust me, it's not in the place of neglecting her family.
I mean, she was the person I knew that when everything around me was going wrong, I can go and meet her and she knew how to comfort me and I'm sorry.
It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. It's okay, Aronoa. It's okay. There's nothing wrong in showing your emotion. Huh? So,
I had just started preschool and I think I was the only child in my class who couldn't read. And teachers always thought I was joking and I just didn't want to do it. And because I used to talk a lot, but I physically could not read. And that was when my mom she would come home earlier from work. She had this book that she got me, and every night before I go to bed, for about 10 or 15 minutes, she would come and she would read with me. And I guess it's just clicking now because she was coming from the island. She would do this every day for about 4 months. And she would read with me. And I think at the end of that school year, I came out as the best reader in my class. So, like, I had come out as the most progressive child in my class. It felt really nice. And I think that's one thing that stays with me.
I think I had to grow up. It took, like I said, my free therapist. So I didn't have that anymore. So I had to kind of grow up and learn to sit myself down and look through whatever I was going through at that point.
The daily routine, pre-COVID, it was wake up around 4:30. She would boil our water and prep our breakfast by around 5 o'clock. So she would wake us up around 5, latest by 5:30. She would make sure we were up and we'd had our bath. Then she would go in and leave us to get dressed and to go and eat because our school bus was supposed to be at the house for 6:30. Yes, school bus was supposed to be at the house for 6:30. I think one reason she did that was to make sure we were always on time and to make sure we had respect for time. So she get up by 6 o'clock. She would have left the house. Usually by the time she's leaving, she always makes sure we are either eating or we have eaten and we're waiting for our school bus to come.
Yeah.
Then when COVID started, I think she didn't wake up at 4 anymore. She'd start waking up around 5.
5?
Yes, she'd wake up at 5, make sure everything is okay. Then by 6 o'clock, she would come and wake us up for prayers, make sure we would go and have our bath. And then before online classes started proper, she would just make sure she had this, there was this classes that she signed us up for. So by 8 o'clock on the dot, we had 2 tables here. By 8 o'clock, you had to be here. It was like you are being in school proper.
And then before going to bed in the evening,
every night,
she's gonna check.
She would come out.
She would check.
She would lock the door. Balcony door is locked. Yeah. Then she would come in to check on Tenla and I, make sure we're asleep.
She prioritized us having a summer
holidays. We always had summer holidays. Family holiday.
Yes, no matter how little or how long, there must be a time
during
as the family
summer
we
for at least
are alone.
1 week.
Yes,
just 4 of us.
Somewhere, just us.
The first memory I have was when we went to IIT.
At Ibadan.
Yes.
That's the first memory I have. And I remember that year, my mommy just came to us and she was like, okay, you guys should pack some clothes. We're traveling. Once I heard travel, I didn't even know where we were going. I just jumped. I carried a bag. I just put random things inside. I woke up later in the night to see her repacking the clothes.
Bottom line, every year we try to plan something, no matter how small.
We were getting ready for our trip last year.
Yeah, we wanted to go to Dubai.
Yeah.
And then I said we shouldn't. And we were planning on going to Ife.
Yeah.
The resort at Ife. She was to sleep take her sleep on Monday,
Yeah.
then do the
Her leave
checkup.
was supposed to start on Monday. She was
Yeah.
supposed to go to the checkup on Monday for a second opinion. Then we
Yeah.
would travel on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
My mom was the kind of person where no matter how you were feeling, you could always go to meet her, and for sure you're going to feel better when you're leaving.
I worry a lot about some stuff, and I overthink a lot of things, and I care too much about some things. And sometimes my dad always has to remind me that as wonderful as my mom was, that was one of the traits that like caused her like a lot of hurt, and it's something that I need to work on, because she wouldn't want me to make some of the same mistakes that she did. So I think I'm like her in a lot of ways, and it's kind of like a blessing and a curse.
I think she was very happy that I took my daddy's genes. I liked talking because she said she always used to say it, that she missed out a lot of things because she was quiet. So
For the girls, she did so much to help Ara to be more organized. Ara can scatter anywhere. And she did her best to help Ara be more organized. She tries to be in our world. She created time for every one of us. She helped me organize. She ensured, because I'm a last minute person, at the dying minute we get it done. And she helped me to be more organized. She showed a lot of interest in what has to do with me. She boosted my confidence level, believing in me, believing in my ventures, getting involved in my business. And we started making good sales.
she gave the best hugs in the world. And that's come from someone who likes hugging people.